Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us around the world. Welcome to today's episode of the PivotCast. I'm your host, Sarah the Pivoter, and here on the PivotCast, I interview super rad humans from around the world doing epic things in all walks of life. This is a platform to share their voice and their story and bring more value to you. In this episode of the PivotCast, we're going to hear some super rad ideas from Lianne McAughey. I think I got that right. And she will be showing us how to live intentionally. She's also a fellow lover of meditation, so you guys know I'm all about that. She's going to share her story and provide practical tips for how we can live more intentionally and pivot away from the hustle and grind. Now, the hustle and grind is something we've all subscribed to. We were all force-fed this as we were growing up. So now it's time to pivot and choose intentionally how we're going to show up in the world. Lianne is a productivity and meditation coach for moms and female entrepreneurs. And for the last 20 years, she has served her community as a police officer in the City of Ottawa, Ontario. And she is also a certified meditation teacher and nutrition coach. So she's got a lot of wisdom that she can bring to us today. Her mission is to encourage people to stop living on autopilot and to be really intentional with the time that they have. We all know how life can change in an instant, and she's no stranger to this as well. So she helps her clients to be productive without the overwhelm and doing the hustle and bustle and grinding so that we can create more time that lights our souls on fire. So this is totally my jam. Now you guys can see why I've got Lianne here with me, and we're going to get right into it. Remember, no matter where you're joining us from around the world, please do share your comments and questions with us live. We'll do our best to answer them. If not, you're catching the replay, put hashtag replay, ask the question, and we'll make sure we get back to you. So without further ado, here's Lianne. Welcome, Lianne. Thank you for being here. For those of you on Instagram, you've been watching us the whole time.
Hello.
Are you able to hear me all right, Lianne?
I am. Yep.
Perfect. We're battling some stormy weather, but you guys know Sarah the Pivoter is no stranger to tech issues. So we're going to pivot through them. We're going to have some fun. So Lianne, thank you so much for being here with me today. It's a real honor to get you on, and I'm really excited about this topic.
Sorry, you just cut out on me. Like I said, we're in the middle of a storm is going to start, and I'm like, of course it will.
Well, I was just saying it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm very excited for our topic today.
Yes, me too. I've been following you, and I love your energy, Sarah. So this is I'm very, very privileged to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really great when we can connect online and do things like this and collaborate, because a lot of us have very aligned interests, and then we somehow start to find each other, right? I don't believe in coincidences, so I think this was a very aligned meeting and interaction. And so I'd like to start off with a little bit about your background story and how you got through your years in the police service, meditation, and where you are today.
Yeah, wow. It's been an interesting journey for sure. I started my first day at police college was 9/11. Wow. And yeah, I was like, wow, what am I stepping into, right? But through the last 21 years, I've seen a lot, right? It's a very different career where you see every single walk of life. And my own personal journey over the last couple of years, I've really, I have 2 kids. I have a husband who's also a police officer. So life can become very, very busy. And for me personally, I became very, very overwhelmed with work and trying to run a house and raise 2 children, 2 boys. And it really started to put me back into that fight and flight, that fear stage in everything. And then not wanting to go to work, not wanting to serve my community. And I was like, there's got to be more. There's got to be more to this. And I literally sat down one day and shut my eyes, and it was quiet. And I'm like, that's what that feels like. And I returned. It was like an instant sort of traveling back in time to when I had a meditation practice many years ago in my 20s before kids. And I literally sat there and was like, This is what I need to do. This is what everybody just needs to slow down, so they can listen and hear themselves think for 5 minutes. And so I really changed up and made meditation a priority. Started to see amazing changes in my own life, right? Just more patience with the kids, more intention with what I was doing, with how I wanted to spend my time. And that's when I was like, okay, this is something that isn't woo-woo anymore. This is very, right? There is still a little bit of a thing around meditation, but
oh, absolutely.
I've seen so many of my coworkers that have suffered through PTSD, and I'm like, people need to just slow down. And so that's what I did. I became a certified meditation teacher, and I'm just, helping people just slow down and live their day slowly, but not getting stuff done, still being able to do things, and doing that through the slowing down of your life.
I love that. There's a phrase in the military, I think the Marines use it a lot, is slow is smooth and smooth is fast, right? And so if we can slow down, we can feel that smoothness of the ride. We can enjoy, what we're doing, rather than being on this hamster wheel that we can never get off of. And then when we do get off of it, we're overwhelmed by the decisions we have to make. So a lot of us get addicted to that adrenaline so that we don't have to make the decisions. And then it's this open loop that just never closes. So I love that, through your own journey, you're able to do this. And so one of the biggest, I think, things that you brought up, one of the concerns of a lot of people is that, maybe I'm going to end up going and hugging trees in the forest, and I'm not going to get anything done because it's this airy fairy stuff. And how do you get them to understand just how much meditation can actually impact their lives and the people around them?
That's great, right? Because people still think that if I slow down, I won't get anything done. And I get them to, again, a lot of my coworkers and my clients, I get them to just start to feel into the presence, right? The presence of where their feet are. One of my favorite sayings is be where your feet are. And you have to do that by slowing down. And when you can do that, you get a lot more clarity. And I tell them, it's like when you learn to slow down, you can get clearer on what you need to get done. You can focus better because you're not on that wheel, that spiral out of control. And so I get them to start by literally just sitting for a few minutes and then journaling after and saying, okay, what is it that I really need to do today, right? Not the to-do list that's a mile long, but focusing on 1 to 3 things and doing those with such intention that you can get things done in less than half the time than if you were trying to rush through everything.
I love that. And, intention, I think a lot of people, they get lost on this. And so they're always just so focused on the outcome, right? So can you talk a little bit more about what intention means to you and how you would define that to your clients?
Yeah. So just a little sort of backstory. Throughout my career in policing, I spent 5 years investigating fatal motor vehicle collisions. Okay. So we know, right? Like we all know that life can change in an instant, but when you see something like that happen, where, good people, things, their life has changed, and is being fully present, because you can go throughout your day and do all the things and then not remember and not have any memory of anything that you've done. We've all had those days where we've driven to work and we don't remember how we got there. I mean, right?
Oh, yeah. You're just like, oh, I'm here. I hope I stopped at the stop sign. I must have.
Right. Exactly. And that's what living with intention is, right? It's being present in the moment in exactly what you're doing. And what is most important is that that's where the memories are created. It's never the big goals, right? It's the little things. It's the drive to work, where maybe like every morning I drive the same route, but every morning I stop to look at the sunrise. That's living with intention, and finding the joy in sort of the segments of your day is where it is, right? We all look so far ahead at the literally the end of the road at the journey or the goal, and we missed everything in between.
Well, and that end goal often changes so much that we never actually feel like we've arrived, right? And so not only are we missing everything in between, but then we're constantly feeling unfulfilled because the goal just keeps moving. And so we're attaching to that.
Yeah, exactly. And then when we can ground ourselves again in the present moment, in the activity or whatever it is that you're doing, that's what intention is. Doing it with intention, being fully in the moment. And it's hard. 2022, right? Life is crazy. Things are still weird. Technology is crazy. Like phones are addictive. But we have to learn to shut that off. And okay, maybe we don't want to all go and hug trees in the forest, but getting out in nature well, I mean, I live in a forest sort of, but getting out in nature is one of the best ways to do that and leave all the other stuff behind.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think for someone, if you struggle with that addictive personality or the phone, I mean, they're designed to keep us hooked, right? There are people, literal social scientists developing these algorithms, right? Just leave it at home and go for a 5-minute walk. If the thought of an hour away from the phone is too anxiety inducing, that's going to defeat the purpose. But sometimes I'll just, go check the mail and I'll leave my phone upstairs. Or, when I go for a run, maybe I don't even bring my phone to listen to music. I just go and I just look at what's happening around me and listen to the birds or the other people that I might pass. And I find that I'm able to get more into my own energy, as you said, and then that allows me to get more clear on what I'm feeling. Because I think a lot of the time when there's too much noise and I don't have that clarity, I would say for myself and a lot of my own clients too, we then think we want something, but that's really just to fix the symptom. That's not really fixing the systemic desire, right? It's just a surface level. So I like that you also talk about lighting people's souls on fire, because I think a lot of us have lost this, right? Mm-hmm. Especially working from home or like homeschooling kids or doing the same job for 20 years. And it's just like, you've slowly did all these other things. What's the first things you do to help people find that fire?
Again, it really all comes back to getting still with yourself. Mm-hmm. Because of all the technology, because of the busyness, whether that's real or perceived, whatever, right? We are so disconnected. We're so disconnected with our bodies, with people. That's why people have no idea what's wrong with them. But if they sat, right, we can get back into that connection with ourselves. And that's what I teach. It's like you need to learn to sit still long enough to feel in every part of your body. Have those thoughts that come and go. It's okay, right? Like we'll talk about meditation, but having the feelings in your body, the pains or whatever, allowing them to come, but then being able to sit. I have a 12-year-old and he just told me, he's like, Mommy, I can't sit still long enough. And I'm like, yeah, but you need to learn. It's a practice. It's a practice to sit still and reconnect with our beings. And when you do that and you ask the question, what do I want? What do I want? Right? People think that's selfish. But you have to start taking care of yourself first and doing the things that light you up so that you can then bring the joy to everything else that you do. Because if you don't know what brings you joy, how are you going to be joyful?
Right?
Right?
Most of us know what we don't want, but we can't articulate what we actually do want. And then therefore, how do you, 1, go out and seek it, 2, attract it, or 3, even experience it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's, again, back to the goals. Everybody either has goals, whether or not they want to share them or they're too afraid to share them, right? A lot of people don't want to share their goals, but they also, like you said, a lot of people know what you don't want, right? Contrast brings clarity. I'm sure everybody has heard this, right? Anybody who's watching, our listeners, let me know if you've heard that. Because when you don't know what you want, that's good. That's a good start. But then go to the other side. If you don't want to be in that job anymore, what do you want to do? If you don't want to be in that relationship anymore, what do you want?
Yeah.
So it really just comes down to getting still.
Yeah. And I think that's very hard for a lot of people. You know, we're trained through society, through our school, that doing and achieving and being productive, like we have these beliefs that, oh, if I'm resting, that I'm lazy. And some of that's generational as well, and depending on the household you grow up in and everything. But it's, you know, you said we have to put ourselves first, and a lot of people tend to think that's selfish. But I like to flip that script. You know, if you're not putting yourself first and you're not operating at your best capability, what kind of parent are you really? What kind of boss are you really? What kind of business owner are you? Sleep actually has physiological impairment to our decision-making process. In my old industry, business aviation, we had to implement fatigue management systems, because if we didn't, people towing the airplanes would have accidents, which costs a lot of money and also causes trauma, right? And so yet we seem to think that, oh, I'll just drink this caffeine or this Red Bull and, you know, I'll be fine. And my younger sister is doing flight school training right now, and she said they simulated being at 25,000 feet without oxygen. And she's like, I started the puzzle at the end instead of the start. I couldn't write my whole name. Just like very basic things become impaired when we don't get oxygen. And yet most of us don't get enough sleep, and we don't get enough oxygen because we don't know how to breathe, because we're just going.
Yeah. Yes. And that's where the meditation comes in, right? Is being able to learn how to breathe. And I mean, breath work is great as well for that. But I start all of my clients and my meditations off with the simple breathing from our diaphragm and getting our nervous system to relax. So to get out of that fight and flight into the rest and recovery, because our body is very smart, right? Like our body knows what it needs to do. We just have to get our mind connected with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of us have lost that trust because we don't have that connection. We haven't used it for a very long time because we've been led to believe that this is the only connection that matters. And a lot of people with meditation as well, they're like, oh, I can't empty my mind, I'm doing it wrong, which is obviously not the case. So what do you tell people in that process of that belief with, I need to empty the mind, and then secondly, how they can start to reconnect and build the trust with their bodies?
This is my favorite question when people tell me I can't meditate because I can't stop thinking. And I'm like, good. Because it's like you're not meant to. Like it's like asking your heart to stop beating, right? Your mind cannot stop thinking. And so I explain and teach my clients is that it's okay to have those thoughts. It's okay to just, be thinking random. 90% of the thoughts that we have are repetitive, right? Programming from childhood, just anything and everything. And unfortunately, I think the stat is something like 60 to 70% of those thoughts are of a negative nature. So, right off the bat, you're a little screwed, really. So I get my clients to really allow those thoughts to come and to acknowledge them, and then to literally walk them out the door like, a bad visitor. Just leave. Because if you can't acknowledge them and you're just pushing them back in, we all know what happens, right? Trauma comes, and depression and anger, all that stuff then comes to the top. So I teach my clients to just, again, it is a practice. That's why it's called a meditation practice, so that every day you have to learn to allow those thoughts to come and let them go. And it's unbelievable how much you realize that your subconscious is thinking and what you're thinking about when you're like, what the hell? I wasn't thinking about that. It was something that happened 5 years ago, or, something I've got booked down 5 days down the road. But that's how our brain works. And that's what keeps us in a state of stress and anxiety is those thoughts that we're not even aware of.
Absolutely. And I think it's also important to recognize that, sometimes these habits, these patterns, these loops that we have them for a reason, right? At some point, they were something that we had our attention on. It kept us safe. It kept us feeling secure. And it was our coping mechanism. And so it's not about judging and shaming the fact that we have it, just accepting that it's there so that we can then pull the string a little bit more, right? It's like just putting the flashlight into that dark corner so we can finally clean out the cobweb. Like, we can't control that the cobweb is there because it's already there, right? It's too late to determine whether or not it goes in or not. So it's just about, let's clean it out now and make it safe again. And so it's really about getting back to feeling safe. And so maybe some people don't feel safe in their emotions and their bodies. And so I think for me in the beginning when I started to meditate, it was a bit disorienting because I had a lot of things that I didn't even realize I had quiet. And it was like learning myself all over again, but with this new kind of focus and new energy. It was sometimes terrifying and sometimes exciting. So what would you say have been some of the experiences you've had or that your clients have had when they finally slow down, particularly maybe on the list? There's obviously PTSD and trauma, as you said, exposure to scenarios. What has been for them when they finally slow down?
One of the biggest thing for me personally has been my patience. Being able to have that space in between the reaction and the response has really been able to be expanded. Before having those knee-jerk reactions, being able to have that space and being able to then think rationally before reacting is one of the hugest things. And I know a couple of my colleagues when I've helped them with that as well, because it only takes the wrong call to go to and the wrong officer in the wrong bad mood for something to end up on social media in the bad context, right? And so getting them to learn that it's okay to take a step back, breathe, right? Allow that gap to extend a little bit and then proceed with, a clearer head. But it's the breathing that brings you back and takes us out of that adrenaline rush, which that's our job, right? We're always in a state of adrenaline as police officers. So getting them to just, again, not everything, as we say, not everything is a fire.
Yes. And we tend to treat it like we might get an email and it's like the whole house is burning down, right? And we just get triggered. And I love that you use that analogy, just saying the story about patience, because whether you're a police officer or you're a stockbroker or trader, or you're an ER doctor, or you're a parent with your child, with your partner, that patience is what allows you to, instead of severing a connection, to strengthen it, right? So whether that connection, everything in our world is about relating to people, places, concepts, ideas. And when we have this sleep, I think of it like a layer, like our skin on our body. Like, imagine we had no skin and our nerves were just exposed to everything. Like, we wouldn't be able to do anything because everything that even came near us would set us off, right? So the skin gives us that layer of protection. And then when we don't sleep, when we don't breathe, those nerves are already activated. So the slightest thing makes us go haywire. And so this is really like adding that layer of skin, the fat, the tissue that just protects us so that we can operate more safely.
Yeah, and that's what it is, right? Meditation is a tool, just like the breath work and even, talk therapy. I mean, that is good for a lot of things, but being able to connect with yourself, that's where the clarity comes with a lot of deciding what to do next, right?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the clients I work with, if they're in this major pivot, they're often very they're stuck on what do I do next. And the first things we do is let's get back into your body. Let's get aware, about the things that are going on for you. And the only way we can do that is by slowing down, by making sure we know what our time is going. Not this like, oh, I scrolled for 2 hours on my Instagram and didn't do anything else, right? Now, there's a time and place for that, of course. Maybe that is stress relief for you. But do you want to be doing that every single day for 2 hours? Probably not, right? If you've got other goals and things and maybe a family that wants to spend time with you. Now, one of the things I like to also talk about, because I love to play with concepts, is meditation doesn't have to be sitting there with your eyes closed, saying Om, right? So for many people, meditation comes in different forms. How would you expand on this definition yourself as well?
So different aspects of meditation. Yeah, there's different ways, right? Like the meditation that I teach is specifically mantra based to let those thoughts come and go. But again, getting out and doing something where you are fully present, like going for a walk in nature. People take that as a meditation. I would really call that really more mindfulness per se, but allowing yourself to be fully immersed in the presence of yourself and nature so that you're actually, we are one and be able to connect with the universe, source, God, whatever it is that you call it. That's where you can get the sense of calm. So yes, not all meditation requires you to sit cross-legged, with your hands in a mudra. Totally get that. Everything is different and not everything is going to work for everyone. You have to find it. And that's why I teach the meditation as a figuring out what is best for you and your lifestyle. Is it the best to wake up in the morning and do some kind of meditation? Sure. Shift workers can't do that. Maybe they're not going to bed till 7 a.m, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Allowing people to make it their own, right? Because as well, then you have that deeper meaning of the why and it feels good. And if it feels good, you're going to do it again, right? But if it doesn't feel good and you're judging yourself for how you think it should be, then of course, that's when we usually draw off the activity.
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that because I've just, I've gone back to doing my meditation in the mornings when I get up, but I can't do that on every other week. Just depends on my shifts. But it does make a difference because after you've slept all night or all day or whatever it is, you're fresh, right? You've got none of that stuff. So starting your mind off on a more positive, clear state is obviously a better way to go. But again, a 15-minute meditation in the afternoon is better than none at all.
Yeah. And so is that the style, like with your mantra style meditation, it's a 15-minute meditation?
Yeah, it's less than like 15 minutes a day. I sometimes do twice a day if I can, if I need it, if I feel, that overwhelm, that anxiety, that overall just pressure coming, I'll do 2 meditations a day. But yeah, it's about a 15 meditation, but part of that is all body awareness and getting yourself into your body through body scans and breathing.
Beautiful. And so when you're traveling, this is often a question that people will ask. What is your non-negotiable when it comes to meditation?
Yeah, I actually have been on a couple trips back to back just recently, and it's just a non-negotiable. It may not be a full 15 minutes, but again, it's getting that quiet time alone to be able to 10, even 5 minutes, to be quite honest, is going to give you the benefits of just clearing your mind, letting any of the crazy thoughts are coming or any thoughts at all that have been bothering you. 5 minutes, even while traveling, is going to be amazing.
Beautiful. And so when you are doing your own meditations, do you usually, I know you teach the mantra style, but do you have a specific mantra you use all the time? Is there a different mantra that you'll use depending on what you need?
Yeah, I use the same mantra all the time because it's basically an anchor. A lot of for mindset and trauma, we use a word or something that we can use to anchor us back into a better state of mind. And so I use the same mantra, and I've been using it for 2 years, because now my body and my brain knows that when I use that, it connects me back.
Yeah.
And so I teach the same thing, and I provide a couple options to my clients to pick one or I give them 3 options of different mantras that are usually in Sanskrit, which have a meaning, and to connect to one that they feel most connected to.
Beautiful. And so 2 years ago, did you have a different mantra and then something shifted that you chose a new one, or was this just that you started using the same one consistently 2 years ago?
Yeah, I started using the same one 2 years ago, and it really did change and make it easier for the meditation to flow, because your brain knows what to come back to, right? It's like I describe it as, it's like a Ferris wheel, right? I'm like, so you're sort of with the mantra, and then the thought comes in, and I'm okay, back to the mantra. It's a trigger, so it brings me back.
Beautiful. Amazing. So if clients or people watching this wanted to work with you and get their own mantra and start their meditation practice, where can they find you? What is the best place for them to reach out and connect?
Well, the best place is on Instagram at Lianne McAughey, and they can contact me to send me a message. We can connect. My program is on my link in bio there, but if they want any questions, it is a 21-day program, self-paced, but I'm there for them. And reach out, connect. I'd love to. I love connecting with new people.
Amazing. Well, we'll make sure when this video is posted, obviously, that you're tagged so people can find you easily. And for anyone watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, go ahead and find Lianne on Instagram, and she'll be tagged in the post there as well. Thank you, Lianne, for being here with me today. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap up?
No, just thank you so much, Sarah. And I know you're doing great things in the world, and we'll have to do this again.
Yes, absolutely. I love to bring on repeat guests and also see what pivots they might have made and different steps in their journey. So thank you very much for being here.
Great. Thank you.
For everyone else who's watching this video, we would love for you to share what your biggest takeaway was. And if you have any further questions on meditation, please do remember to post on whatever platform you're watching, tag us, and we'll make sure that we get you the information that you need so that you can connect with Lianne. Remember, real pivoters are human beings just like me and you, and all it takes is for you to decide to go out and do something different. So go and do something that's going to make you spark a little bit more today.
Remember, real pivoters are human beings just like me and you. And all it takes is for you to decide to go out and do something different. So go and